All right, hey guys, just gonna go over this real quick. I got a couple questions about the oil play from early in the morning, and then the end of the day play when I was saying to watch MNQ, MES, and YM, and then how I picked the cipher pattern in NQ and why I picked the cipher pattern, and then how I knew that it would turn into a butterfly. It's not that it's simple. It's just because after you do it for a while, you understand. If you're looking for certain things, that's how you'll know that they could possibly turn into another. And it's really just stop loss management after that. So really, this one, I was just looking for early in the day. I got a couple questions about why I didn't pick this part of the thing to draw the pattern again, because we're taking the first XA with the longest drive for the bat pattern and the Gartley pattern. We want the whole wave. The cipher pattern, we're picking a sub wave. Also for the butterfly pattern, we're picking the largest triangle. So we're just going to go over this one real quick. It was the first full XA move, which is from the very high, from the very low to the very high, and then the pullback, right? A drive up to at least 618, but not higher than A, right? And then we're looking for 786 or 886 box, and we're always looking for the same thing in the box. I was watching this in a bunch of different time frames. I'm always flipping through time frames, and I was watching this box. Now, what I noticed was it had this. I'm always looking for this candle, right? I always tell you guys I'm looking for this candle. Long wicks. I'm looking for very thin bodies that get pushed back inside of a dominant candle. And then if it has the long wicks on both sides, that's also a good point that the market can turn, especially after very long drops, right? This isn't that big of a drop, but it is a long drop. Now, I just noted you guys when it was right here, there was a pin bar, and I was referring to the pin bar in 1 hour. I don't even know if I said that in my post. I just said we're looking for the 30-minute inside bar. I think a few guys bought like right here. And again, it's really just all we're looking for on that one is a long XA drive. We have a drive down to 618. This was technically a Gartley pattern. So in that case, we're always going to be, I think you guys all already know how to do it, drawing the 1.272 extension, make sure it's really tight. The ABCD pattern, make sure it's cloned, drag it to the next high, right? And then you're looking for the 786 extension. But I always tell you guys, make sure even on a Gartley or a bat pattern is to look for these long doji type candles. This is a long-legged doji inside bars in the box. We're inside of the 786 and 886 box. This line's a little bit lighter now. We can get this 1.414 out of here. But you notice this right inside of our box, so it's super important. And then it was really just off to the races. We could look at it in low time frame. And another thing I noted in low time frame was this inside bar. I only bought one on this because I thought this thing was going to fail, which was my fault. And that was this inside bar. Again, this was almost all the way down to one, and then I bought this inside bar with a stop against here. And as I was switching through time frames, I added 3 on when it got back above 886, and then we had the 30-minute inside bar up, which was all the way at the other end. Was this one right here? I added when it broke back above 886, and then. Because if you're looking at this in a low time frame, it looks a little different. Again, we're always look for them building higher lows, right? This is super important, building higher lows, inside bars, right? We're always looking for those. The higher the time frame, the more powerful. And then because we had the big retracement, then we're looking for, I skipped 382 on this one. And I was just trying to sell at 618. Right down to your trigger level. It was technically it was at 786 here, so a little higher. I actually skipped this level, and I was looking for. Actually, I might have sold one in here. I can't remember. I have to look. I think I did sell one right here. I would have to look at my chart. No, 89.75. I think I sold. I can't remember. I would have to look at my order. But basically, all you want to be doing is once you get in the play, draw from your very high to your trigger level, whatever the trigger level of the players are. Technically, we're on a Gartley pattern because I had a 618 retracement, so I think it was like right here, and then TP1, and then TP2, and then you're hoping for TP3, top of the pattern. All right, I think this is what confused people was the end of the day play. I don't think anyone got into this one. I was telling you guys right here. I think a couple people were mentioning, different places to get in, so on and so forth. I said potential cipher pattern because I noticed this wave right here in NQ. I noticed it in ES, same wave. Now, again, I'm looking for harmonic patterns in the last hour of the day. So 12 p.m. my time here in California. If you're here in New York, 3 p.m. Can you find them at any time? Yes. I like to find them in the first 3 hours, and the last hour, hour and a half is my favorite time to find them. But I said right when the price was right here that to look for pullbacks in NQES and YM, and they all have the same exact plays. This one technically turned into a bat pattern. It's very easy to see. You have this XA move, stops in the 1.272 window, but it turns, so they had one bounce from there. It turns quickly into a bat pattern, right? It's very easy to see. You have a full XA drive, a touch of 382, and a drive down to 886. And guys, it's always the same thing. Not always the same thing, but I mean, it's pretty standard. If you can't see that and this bat pattern, then I think we just have a lot of work to do. Me in teaching, and then you guys in being able to review these. But you should be able to see these, especially when I'm saying before they happen. Look for even this is still worked as a cipher pattern, right? Because if you have the XA drive and you're measuring this drive, you know that it never came outside of the window. Technically, it never had a close outside of here. And then we had a drive down to 786, stopped at 886. Remember, don't give up on them when they come down here. But you guys have to be understanding how patterns can turn into other patterns, right? I didn't trade this one. I should have. It paid way better than NQ. Again, YM typically does. Let me just show you why I picked NQ. NQ is also my favorite to trade out of all of the indices, so I technically do focus on this one. I got a couple questions on how I knew this would turn into a butterfly pattern and why I caught both of them. Very simple, guys. I'm looking for an XA drive, always the same thing, right? End of day, last half hour of the day. I said up here to look for a cipher pattern, right? When the price was up here, guys, look out for a cipher pattern, MNQ, MES, MYM. Sure enough, what happens? We get the XA drive, stop at 1.272, a drive back up to 618, right? Top. This is really a second high, but it's not really a double top because it's higher than the last one. But you still get the drive up to 618. What do you get? Engulfing bar right here. And then the sharp drop back down, right? If you measure, even if you measure right here, this is still a 618, right? Top, double top, 618. That's not perfect. Top, double top, 618, drive back down. So what we're looking for on this one, I did buy 3 down here. Another thing to know, at the end of the day, I don't play as big as I do during the beginning of the day either. So I will play the end of the day bounces and especially when you have big long drops at the end of the day, you got to be looking for short covering bounces, right? Because you're going to get a 100-point bounce on NQ, you're going to get a 30-point bounce on ES. Just on short covering alone, it doesn't even take a lot of buying. It's just people getting out of shorts, right? And to get out of a short, you have to buy back your position, and that gets you flat on the day, and you can ride that similar wave. So I bought this cipher pattern, right? I bought this one. I said I sold 2 at 9.15. I moved my stop loss to entry because I had a feeling once we get this big triangle, the possibility of getting a butterfly pattern, right? Because they know everybody plays the stop at the end of the day here, all the way at the low of the day. They get this drive up here, and then what do you guys get? The same thing, right? That's how I said it. It'll turn into a butterfly pattern. Very confusing to see in real time. But again, what you're looking for is very deep triangles, right? The butterfly pattern, you just have to get in the habit of looking for very deep triangles. Anyone can do this, right? Anyone can see that this is a triangle. It doesn't take any skill or anything. You can just say that's a very deep drive with 100% retracement, right? Shallow drive up on your C drive. I don't like it all the way up here, but it has to be lower than A, right? But it is at 618 anyway, so it's actually a perfect butterfly pattern, right? You get the sharp drop down to 1.272. You guys all know how to draw the 1.272. We've done it a million times. And then what are we looking for in the box? I hate to repeat myself a million times, but you know exactly what it is. Inverted hammer, inside bar, another inverted hammer inside bar, doji, right? Small, tight candle, what we're looking for. And then same thing. What do you get up here? We're always looking for the same thing on a low time frame, right? We're looking for a flag. And then we're looking for the price of the 8 to cross back over the 89 for the first time of the day, right? For the first time of the day and create bandwidth. It hasn't done this all day, and it happens to do it at the end of the day. Why does it happen right now? Because short covering, right? So now you have, what do you guys have? Again, what are we looking for? You get up by the 8 and 89 EMA cross, and this is your sign that it's going to be a bigger move and not be a small move, right? A few people just asked me in direct messages, how did I know this was going to be a bigger move than, just this short drive? Because this one was only a short drive. Again, the market maker's goal is to wash out these buyers, right? Because they have their stops against the low. They caught the small bounce. They get washed out. They get stopped out. And where did the big fills come? Right here. And then it's just solid buying off the butterfly pattern, right? You have the 1.272 extension inside bar, and then just higher lows, breakout, right? We get a flag right before the 8 and 89 EMA cross, inside bar, another inside bar, and then it's just off to the races. You'll notice another inside bar, and then it starts really moving, right? You get a touch back to the 89 EMA, which it likes to do, right? A nice touch right here. Not a harmonic. Someone asked me if this is a harmonic. This is not a harmonic because you get this high, but it's very close to one, right? But you're more interested in the touch, the doji-like candle, the inside bar, and then the pop-up, and then it keeps moving. This is a harmonic, right? This is a harmonic right here. This is a bad pattern. This one is not. But either way, you're still looking for this drive type move, right? Once you get that 8 cross over the 89, then you can think about moving your stop loss to entry, right? You can't lose anything. And then you can see how much of this move you guys can get. But that's what I would be looking for, right? That's what I'm always looking for. MYM, the one that I didn't take, was just a bat pattern, right? And they're all not going to move identical. That's the thing. Like I got another question. How did I know this with the deeper trace and it wasn't going to turn into a butterfly pattern? Because you kind of got to be flipping through all of them and watching them together. Pick one and just focus on one. MES, if you had just focused on MES, you could have played both of these. You could have played the cipher. I didn't. It's hard to play both. You could have caught this one, and then you could say, I saw the deep triangle, and I turned it into, what is it? You guys should already know what it is, right? 1.272 extension, inside bar, inverted hammer, big, right? Big red candle, can't make a new low. It's in the 1.272 window, inverted hammer, inside bar, right? This is another inside bar. It's probably white if you really make this thing really big, which is still not white, but it should be. That is an inside bar, a doji candle inside bar. Same thing. Where does it pull back to? Probably pretty close to 618. I didn't even measure this yet because I didn't take the trade. Got close to 618. 8 crosses over the 89 EMA, and then off to the races here. Not a big move, but again, this is what we're looking for. Harmonics at the opening of the market and at the close of the market. You're going to find them all day and in between? Yes, you will. In the regular trading session, you'll find even plenty more, right? You just got to be patient. And you always have to have your eyes open and be just looking for, this is the most important thing to look for. In my book, again, not everyone says this is the most important pattern. To me, it is. It's the one that I find the most, and the one that the people that trade harmonics that I teach, they find this one by far the most. Ami will tell you this is his pattern that he loves, right? He does trade the 1.272 extension. But I don't think he trades or really notices a lot of times that it's a butterfly. But I have seen him post 1.272 extensions that are butterfly patterns. So again, obviously he's doing really well. But this is the stuff you want to be watching for: 1.272 extensions, exhaustion moves at the end of the day, last 30 minutes of the day, inside bar off the 1.272 extension, big move. And NQ we went over, oil we went over, MYM same thing, just that bat. We went over this one big bat pattern. Where does it pull back to? Probably pretty close to 618. I don't know if we measured this one right. Pulls right back to 618. Right. So if you look at this, I don't have anything lower than a 1 minute on here, but you could have seen it. What does it look like on a 5 minute? Big engulfing. Sorry, big inside bar, and then just really a break above that. Two tries to try to make a low and it can't, and then it's gone. Right. So I didn't check RTY. It was probably the same exact thing. It usually is. I rarely trade RTY. It moves the worst out of all of them. Same exact pattern. It made a couple breaks against the low. Um, but you could have traded it. This one does not hold its levels as well as other ones. I get a lot of questions. Why don't you trade RTY? It doesn't have the biggest moves, right? You'll get similar numbers like you do to ES, but it will break the low a lot. But it's good to monitor all of them, right? So I'm watching MYM, I'm watching MMQ and MES, right? If I'm telling you guys up here, right, to look for harmonic patterns, if I'm saying up here to look for a cipher pattern, if anyone's taking my course, there isn't anyone that's taking my course that shouldn't be able to say, I'm able to look for this. I shouldn't have to tell you anything. I shouldn't have to draw it for you. If I'm saying to look for a cipher pattern and it's up here, if you don't know where 786 is, then you really need to do a little more reviewing. I could tell you exactly what I'm trading, and you still will have a hard time with what I'm doing because you don't really understand the rules, right? And if I'm still getting questions of where the stop loss is on a butterfly pattern, we really have issues, right? Because I've said it multiple times, right? The stop loss technically is under 414, but you have to understand that they'll put a wick in right here, and they will drop it below here, and they will bring it back up with a hammer candle. And I'm going hands down. I'll even go bigger when I see this, because when I know that price can't make a break below 414, and then they put a hammer candle and it closes either right on 1.272 or in the window, that I would actually even add some. But this is such a tight stop loss move. You have to understand this is a big money play right here. You're getting a lot of points for a very small stop loss. And technically, if you're moving your stop loss at 1 to 2, this is a free trade within a very short period of time, right? And that's where you can go really big. MYM was the same thing. YM, MYM. If you have the same thing, um, what we did before, same idea. Inside bar, um, 2 to 1. You're moving your stop loss to entry anyway. It never came back to your entry. Touch it, even if you miss this whole move, right? What do I always say? If you see a harmonic that works, what do? You look for a pullback to 618. And what does it do? It pulls right back to 618. So anyone that's taken my course or seen me talk about this 1,000 times over, this is all we're looking for, right? Harmonic patterns, pullbacks to 618, 8 crosses over the 89 EMA, engulfing candle, a retest engulfing candle, and then it moves, right? But then I'll get the same questions on why did I buy this trigger level? When if you have your chart set up like mine, you should already know why I bought it, right? And then you should know that it made a new XA, it made a new pullback to 618, right? And you're noting the 8 and the 89 and EMA in low time frame. And what does it do? Right? It gathers orders around the touch to the 89 on a retest, right? If it can't make a cross back, well, look at this. This is the whole entire day. The 8 is under the 89, just getting blasted lower the whole entire day. You have to understand this is short covering, right? This is short covering, this move right here, all this buying. This is the shorts closing their orders, the professionals. They're getting out of their orders, right? They don't want to hold this thing overnight. any news comes out, this thing takes off.